Welcome back to West Texas View.
Welcome back to the West Texas View. I'm Johnny Lou Avery, and Dawn Cockrell is a certified professional midwife. And before the break, we were talking about the placenta and how there's so much advantage to leaving it connected until the baby knows when to keep that they don't need that pulsating blood. Talk a little bit more about that, because that is so interesting to me.
It is to me too. It's called delayed cord clamping. We also know that in the Cochrane database, it's a database of every study done obstetrically to prove evidence-based practice instead of hey, let's just do it this way because it's our rules. We find
these meet regulations.
Yes, yes. That if we ever actually have evidence of benefit to baby and mother by delaying the clamping of the cord, you're actually promoting an easier transition from the womb into an air breathing little one. So it's really important to practice evidence-based midwifery.
So then as they're laying in their mother's arms, how do you know? How do you know that?
The cord goes from a pulsating purple hue to a thin, pale, empty umbilical cord. Also, mom's going to start feeling contractions, and she can push her placenta out. Has no bones. It's like Jell-O. It's not a big deal. Doesn't hurt. And then dad gets to cut cord. So that's so we've had some families that dad's cut cord over and over, and now it's the oldest child's turn to cut the cord. So it can be a family event.
And so at that point then, what do you do? Do you walk away and let the mother and baby have some time, or the family have some time, or do you continue to be there to monitor? And
we're there hovering. We hover for at least an hour, hour and a half. We might step back and let them have their own time, their bonding time, but we're not in someone's face. We're just doing our blood pressure, pulse. We're monitoring mom's bleeding. And they're just all eyes on baby. They're ignoring us. They don't even know who was here. Oh yeah, that was Dawn down there. So the best thing in the world is that I can leave them alone. That cord's clamped. Mom's been delivered over placenta. She hasn't torn, or if she did, I have to suture, and we're finishing that up. And so the great thing is we just tuck them in bed. If she's hungry, we get that meal ready for her. So there is a time, but we monitor at least 2 to 3 hours after the placenta is born.
And then how long afterwards do you continue to check with that mother?
Well, we have continued care for 6 weeks, and it's for mother and baby. We encourage the pediatrician has been selected, or family practice physician, and the baby begins seeing that within a day to 2 weeks. Just depends on the physician's desire to start that care.
Well, this may seem like a negative, but how do you keep the environment sterile or clean, or whatever you would call it? Because I know that even just to go into the hospital for some other kind of operation, the first thing they say is, this is a germy environment.
It is.
And we've got to get you out as quickly as possible.
Great advantage to home birth. Mother is already immune to the germs in her own home, which translates same thing to baby. So there's no such thing as a sterile birth environment.
So the little children that are in the room, or the father that's in the room, you don't.
They're already immune to those germs.
That is so interesting.
Safest place in the world to give birth is in your own home.
That is so interesting. Well, tell me a little bit. I've heard this, and it may not have anything to do with you, but I've heard about water births. Now, I don't understand that.
About 90% of all of our mothers give birth in water. About 10% choose not to. Water birth has really come to the fore since the 80s, but even more so here in the years past 5-6 years. They have a birth pool. It has 5 feet wide, 3 feet deep. The temperature is moderate, between 98 and 100 degrees.
Is that like a bathtub?
It is, only it's more roomy. It's a wonderful way to give birth. They call it an aquadural instead of an epidural because you can feel less pain in labor. And some women choose to give birth in the water and some choose to get out to birth.
And so if 90% approximately do that, then that means when they're ready to give birth, you take this tub over and put lukewarm water or hot water?
Well, that's Dad's labor of love. We drop it off at 37 weeks, and most women are pregnant to 40, 41, 42 weeks. So they set it up when they're ready to labor and fill it up themselves. They wait till I get there before they get in. So, I mean, that's just basically how it happens.
And then if they do have it in the water, how does it keep the baby from drowning?
Oh, baby wouldn't drown because we lift it out immediately after birth. Baby is in a little aquatic world for 9 months. So baby comes out into a moderate temperature that's the same temperature as what it's used to, takes its first breath as soon as it hits air, and begins the same process. There are some over 150 hospitals in the United States that are actually promoting water birth and have their own water birth sections. So some allow you to give birth there in the water birth pool, and then others just say go ahead and hop out and push your baby out outside of the pool. It just depends on their rules. But home birth, you have that option.
Well, I guess the thing that amazes me is that it's really every birth is a customized service.
Right.
Whether it's younger or older, do you enjoy or see a lot of difference between a very young birth and an older birth?
Absolutely.
Mother?
Absolutely, and of course it has to do with what kind of support system do they have. So do they come at birth calmly with lots of information, or even high-strung moms who have a tendency even in their 40s to be high-strung and need a lot of attention, a lot of hand-holding and support. They deserve that. They don't. It's not something that they should say, please hold my hand. It should be somebody that's there that already understands that is a need, sees it, and then does it.
And so when you, if someone came to you for the first time, you spend a lot of time getting to know that person and that personality and that feeling about birth, whether they're afraid, whether this is just another ho-hum thing or whatever.
Sure.
And then what about the whole family? You have to know what the whole family thinks too. So you really get to know the whole family. We're going to have to take another quick break and then come back and finish this conversation with Dawn. We'll be back in just a minute.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.